Good morning and thank you for joining us on this Thursday's edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne and as always we're coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. This morning too we have the details of all the top stories from here at home and around the world, so let's dive right in. Starting off with the President's official visit to Germany. President Therunee Karunaratne, who is currently on an official visit to Germany, is scheduled to meet with several more German ministers today. Yesterday, President Karunaratne met with German Federal Minister for Foreign Affairs, Johann Wadephul, in Berlin. The discussions focused on expanding bilateral cooperation in areas such as trade and digital economy, investment as well as vocational training based on the priorities of the two governments. Earlier, President Karunaratne also met with German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. During the meeting, the two leaders held lengthy discussions on strengthening economic and international relations between the two countries. According to the President's media division, special attention was paid to enhancing cooperation in vocational training as well as the tourism industry. President Karunaratne left for Germany the night before last on a three-day official visit, following an invitation extended by the German President. Minister of Foreign Affairs Bichte Herat and a delegation of senior government officials are accompanying President Therunee Karunaratne on this official visit. On to more local news now. The Colombo Municipal Council, which has by now drawn significant attention of the entire country, is scheduled to convene next Monday. Meanwhile, several political parties held discussions yesterday at the opposition leader's office regarding the selection of a new mayor for the Colombo Municipal Council. Since no single political party managed to secure a majority in the recent local government elections for the Colombo Municipal Council, the Samagi Balawege stated that all opposition factions will join forces in order to establish control in the CMC. However, they have not yet revealed who their mayoral candidate will be. The Samagi Balawege and the United National Party also held discussions yesterday at the opposition leader's office to deliberate on this matter. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna also engaged in talks last night with the SJB and the UNP regarding the establishment of power in the Colombo Municipal Council. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, or the PUCSL, approved a 15% increase in electricity tariffs, which came into effect at midnight yesterday. PUCSL Chairman Professor K.L. Chandralal stated yesterday that despite the increase, the new rates represent an overall 8% reduction compared to the 2024 tariff hike. Religious institutions that consume less than 90 units per month will not be affected by this new tariff hike. Meanwhile, households consuming less than 30 units of electricity will see an 8% increase in their electricity bills. Meanwhile, a total of 18,163 metric tons of salt have been imported into the country between the 22nd of May and the 7th of June. The total value of the imported salt is reported to be 1,291 million rupees, with 571 million rupees already spent on the imports so far. The planned total salt import, intended as a solution to the ongoing shortage in the market, was 30,000 metric tons. Still in local news, the Ministry of Transport, Highways, Ports and Civil Aviation has announced that development work on the Kadavathar to Medigama section of the Central Expressway will commence in August, funded by the state. The ministry further stated that ongoing discussions with China's Exim Bank regarding funding for the remaining development work are expected to conclude by the end of this month. Meanwhile, cabinet approval has been granted to resume land acquisition for the construction of the Kurunegala to Dambulla stretch under phase 4 of the Central Expressway. Authorities have emphasized that completing Phase 4 is essential to realizing the full expected benefits of the entire Central Expressway. The ministry also noted that this initiative aims to fulfill the need for a comprehensive and high-quality road network, providing access to the northern, north central, eastern and central provinces of Sri Lanka. Now, the Sirasa Namami Poson Zone, organized jointly by Sirasa TV and Sirasa FM, enters its third day today, centered around the historic Kuragala Raja Mahavihara in Balangoda. Placing special emphasis on both material and spiritual offerings, or Amisa and Pratipatti Puja, this Poson zone features a wide array of religious and cultural activities, including pandal displays, lanterns, dansal and devotional songs or bhakti gi, promoting mindfulness and Buddhist values. The Sirasa Namami Poson zone will continue until the 15th of June. And finally, on to the weather forecast for today. The Met Department says that showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamua's central, southern and northwestern provinces. Heavy falls above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Nuwara Eliya, Kandy, Galle and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers may occur in the northern province and in the Anuradhapura district. Strong winds of about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills and the northern, north central, western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and southern provinces, as well as in the Trincomalee district. And as always, the general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. With that, let's move on to news overseas. Let's start off with the United States. This is the latest update with regards to the public protests that were taking place in Los Angeles, USA. An uneasy calm has descended over Los Angeles after the first night of curfew lifted on Wednesday as cities across the U.S. brace for more protests. In Los Angeles, nearly 400 people have so far been arrested, included 330 undocumented migrants and 157 people arrested for assault or obstruction, including one for the attempted murder of a police officer. Federal prosecutors have so far charged two men of throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers in two separate incidents. A total of 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines have been deployed to help quell the unrest. Some of those National Guard troops are now authorized to detain people until police can arrest them. Speaking alongside 30 regional mayors at a news conference on Wednesday, the LA mayor blamed the protests on US President Donald Trump's immigration raids, which she said provoked residents by causing fear and panic. Bass suggested that Los Angeles was part of, quote-unquote, a national experiment to determine how far the federal government can go in taking over power from a local government from a local jurisdiction. Now, she had previously called on the administration to end the raids. Overnight on Tuesday into Wednesday, Los Angeles police said they made mass arrests after a fifth day of protests over the immigration action. In a series of statements, the city's police department said that those detained include 203 people arrested for failure to disperse, 17 for curfew violations, 3 for possession of a firearm and 1 for assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer. Elsewhere, the immigration raids have continued alongside the National Guard troops. And on to more news overseas now. US President Donald Trump says that talks aimed at cooling tensions between the US and China have ended in a deal. He said that China had agreed to supply US companies with magnets and rare earth metals, while the US would walk back its threats to revoke visas of Chinese students. Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social, and I quote, "Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval from President Xi Jinping and me," unquote. It followed 2 days of intense talks in London to resolve conflicts that have emerged since the two sides agreed a truce in May, after a rapid escalation of tariffs had nearly paralyzed trade between the world's two largest economies. But the limited nature of the announcement underscored the questions the White House is facing about whether its tariff strategy can quickly yield solid trade deals. Separately, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bennett said he expected the U.S. would extend the existing pause on some of its most aggressive tariffs to allow trade talks with other countries to continue. Details about this new agreement with China were limited as well. Trump and China's leader Xi Jinping spoke over the phone last week to kickstart these negotiations, which involved top officials from both the countries. And that is a wrap of this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. Do join us tomorrow as well, same time, same place, for more of the very latest from here at home and around the world. Take care. Have a wonderful day ahead.